Are you new to fly fishing like myself and want to learn how to cast a fly rod properly? Kevin Townsend here from Port O'Connor is going to teach me how to cast a fly rod. Hey guys, it's Ryan from SportRx and we are in beautiful Port O'Connor, Texas. I'm here with KT, also known as Kevin Townsend. He is a fly fishing expert from Port O'Connor. He's been fly fishing for over 40 years and guiding people around here for over 35. And today, he's gonna teach me how to cast a fly rod. Kevin, let's jump into it.
All right, man. You know, Ryan, I'll let you hold the fly rod a second. And I always like to start with a conventional tackle rod because most people have casted a conventional rod and they understand how to do it, and you don't even think about it when you throw this thing. But you're using mechanics when you throw this, but you've done it so often it's just coming automatic. Same mechanics with this, with one main difference. The way you load a conventional rod to throw is with the weight
from the lure.
It's incorporated in the lure, whether it's a plug, a lead head jig like this, yeah. But it is that weight that enables you to throw the lure. And if you've noticed, the lighter that lure is, the less distance you can get with it. The heavier, the further it goes, okay? I mean, I can cast this thing a mile out there if I want to. But the reason that I'm able to do that, and basically do it really without thinking much about it. Look at all that bait coming up where I was reeling that in. But what's happening there, without really thinking much about it, when I go back here with this rod and I start forward, this butt section of this rod is very stiff, gets more limber towards the tip. That's so I can move this rod forward with the butt section, yet the tip is going to start to bend with the weight of that lure.
The lead. Gotcha.
And then right in here, when I've got everything loaded up and ready to go, then I let it go forward and it has all that load in the rod from this weight to release into the forward cast, okay? The difference now with a fly rod is this little old bitty crab fly
has no weight
that we are using, has zero weight in it. So to load this fly rod, I have to load the rod with the weight of the fly line. The fly line is the coated line. The reason it is coated, two reasons. This is a floating line, so that coating enables it to float on the surface of the water. And also it has weight in it. And this weight is what you're using to load the fly rod with. Okay, that's why it's very important too. We're using an 8-weight rod here.
8-weight.
They sell lines to match the weight of the rod. And you want to make dang sure if you have an 8-weight rod that you have an 8-weight line on there because it's made to balance with this rod.
That makes sense.
Some people, if they're going to be in a heavy wind situation,
like we were a couple days ago.
Exactly, or having just a little trouble with the cast, will overload the rod, meaning you could put a 9-weight line on an 8-weight rod and it would load a little more quickly and a little more easier. But because of that added weight, what you lose is the gentleness of the presentation because you're putting more weight out there on the water.
Makes sense.
So I like to match it exactly. 8-weight line, 8-weight rod, okay? So in order to load this rod now, this line has got to fully extend behind me so it can load the rod. Just like we were talking about with that spin rod, we have to have this bend in the rod. Now hold that rod up at 12. You see that bend I'm getting there? That is a load in that rod that can be released. Now, so when you back cast, we're not gonna drop the rod any more than that because that's gonna hold our load up there. Now what happens, I want you to straighten that rod out straight at me, point straight at me. Now what do you have? Nothing. Nothing to throw. So if you come too far back with the fly rod, you've got no load to throw forward. That's a very common mistake because with that spin rod, the further back you come, the more load you're gonna get. With a fly rod, the further back you come, the less load you're gonna get. Key here, if you'll move that rod just around that way, is a 1/2 to extend the line in both my forward cast and my back cast. Because if it's not fully extended forward and back before I make my moves forward and back, I've got nothing to throw. Okay, this is proper casting.
10 to 2, like you were talking about.
Exactly. And there's a little slack left in there. I could even, if I need to go further than that, I'm just gonna pick it up. Just go once forward, once back, and then the rest of the slack will go out, okay? Now, how I'm able to do that is all about my timing. Has nothing at all to do with strength. To show you that it has nothing to do with strength, I will just pick this rod up, hold it at the proper position, wait for the line to extend, and then I'm just gonna drop the rod.
And you have to wait for the full line to go back, right? If you go forward before, it's gonna get tangled up like I was doing it.
Exactly, and here's what happens if you don't let it go all the way back.
Doesn't go anywhere.
You know, a lot of people want to get all this stuff. Well, nothing's happening, you know? And if you look how smooth and effortless when it's done properly, well, if I can get it all going here, you know, there's not a lot of wasted motion, not a lot of wasted energy here.
It's going a lot farther and it's smoother.
Exactly. And I'm not, all the energy is being expelled into the cast, not in me whipping this thing back and forth, okay? So again, the most critical things in the fly cast, when you start the cast, you cannot pick up slack line on the water. There's no load there. There's nothing to pick up. You have to strip in the line until all of the slack is out of the line. Then I have something to pick up, and see that bounce right there? Let's do that again. When I pick this line up, that tip will bounce.
Right there.
And that's telling me it's feeling the weight of that
water.
line.
Okay.
That line is trying to load the rod, okay? So, you're gonna pick up no slack, only fly line. We're gonna lift the fly line to the leader and then just pop that leader off the water.
Because you do not want the line touching the water as you're beginning to cast, correct? Or is that not a big deal?
Well, you're talking about on your false cast, your back and
so
forth?
as you're going, do you want it to kind of touch the water? No, you don't want it touching the water.
We want to keep it in the air until the final presentation of the fly.
Okay.
Because you don't want stuff slapping the water, warning the fish, hey, here we come, you know.
So they're real spooky.
Yeah, so in your false casting, you just want to keep it running in the air.
Nice and smooth. Gotcha.
Not touching the water until I'm ready to lay it down at the fish. Okay? When you begin your cast, you have got all of that slack stripped out. The next thing that becomes important as you make your back cast and forward cast is that we don't take the rod too far back or too far forward. Again, to show you how to do it wrong.
Looks like me a couple days ago.
You know, all of that kind of stuff there. There's a lot I'm doing wrong there. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to pick up, the only move I'm gonna make with my rod is from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, or cheek to ear, cheek to ear. And you wanna keep that, I like to keep my elbow kind of in, and you can see very limited movement, but very efficient movement.
And why do you want to keep the elbow in? Why is that an important tip?
Well, that's a great question. With me, it's because I've got a redfish sitting there in clear water that could be as close as 20 feet, and I don't want him to see me. So this cast is a lot better than...
Oh, because they'll hear that splash.
Well, in all of this motion, they can see you. And you're like, hey!
You're just spooking
Hey,
them away,
I'm over here, fish. Instead of, there's a fish.
Just being quiet is the name of the game for
Exactly.
these fish.
Limited motion and quietness. Something you don't do in a beginner lesson, but something you have to eventually learn, and that's called the double haul. okay? And the haul is a movement, a manipulation of the line with your offhand, not your casting hand, your offhand, where you are starting to build line speed by pulling the fly line down the rod. So, and this would be a single haul, is on the pickup of the fly line. And here's what that is. I'm pulling as I go back. And then you can just make any kind of forward cast there. But that would be a single haul, and that's just allowing me to start the cast.
And as you're going, you're stopping it, right? As you're going forward, so you don't want too much going, correct?
Yes, exactly. But coming back to the haul, I made the single haul for my back cast. If you'll notice, my forward cast now, and I'm just going to put all the line behind me just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay, so that line's back there and I have to cast it this way now. There's no slack in it, which is good. And I can do that with just the rod, okay?
I see that.
But I can do it much better and with much more line speed by pulling here.
Oh.
See the difference? To combine those two in a cast is a double haul. Back haul and forward haul, 2 hauls. And this is a double haul. It is single haul to pick up, double haul to go forward. Single haul back, double haul forward.
You make it look so easy.
Well, I've been doing it for a while. And it truly is, man, it's a sport that takes practice.
So let's run through the main tips. Got to keep your elbow in.
Right?
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Got to make sure it goes all the way back, go all the way forward.
Extended fully forward, extended fully back.
Make sure you strip and have enough line to make sure you can make the cast, correct?
Exactly.
And then the overhaul for more, not your beginners, but once you kind of get going, that's when you can do the
double haul.
The double haul, sorry.
Now, what you need to do with your cast is a total overhaul.
Total overhaul. This man just cracking jokes all weekend on me. Well, guys.
But it's called a double haul. So.
And last thing, you got to make sure it's loaded, correct? Because you don't have that weight. Like on this, the spinning reel, we got to make sure it's more loaded with the line on this, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Well, guys.
One more thing.
Have fun.
Have fun.
I hope you guys like this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more from Kevin, you can follow him on social media at KT Diaries. I clearly need to go practice more, and I'm going to have Kevin go help me. Catch you guys later.